Welcome back.
And happy holidays.
Happy holidays and happy new year almost. This is our last video of the year, so we're going to do something a little bit different. Why don't you come with me?
Grab our drinks.
Grab a drink. I'm going to go up this side. Take you to one of our favorite spots.
We've got our boat all decked out with some Christmas lights.
We've got a paddleboard in the way of our step there a bit.
We thought we would take you up to our go-to spot for sundowners.
Absolutely. So,
as I trip over everything. Grab a drink and get cozy.
We're going to answer a few of the most asked questions that we get emails or comments about.
Yes. Cheers first.
Cheers. And cheers to you. So, first up is what sailing experience did we have before we started?
For me, zero. I had no sailing experience. So I grew up in northern Arizona and my family went to the lake a lot. So I grew up on lake boats, but I really had no sailing experience and not much boat on the ocean experience.
Yeah, and I grew up in San Juan Capistrano, California, or kind of Dana Point was pretty much on the border of the two cities. So we had a boat. We'd go to lakes. We'd go to Catalina a whole lot. When I was a little bit older, my parents got more of a trawler, so it had twin engines. So that was my biggest experiences. When we got on a catamaran for our sailing classes, I understood how twin engines worked and steering it. But really sailing, besides like a Hobie Cat or some little dinghy type sailing at like summer camp at Dana Point, zero.
Yep. So that
answers that.
Like Jim said, our biggest experience was the classes we took right before Bible.
Absolutely. Question number 2.
And number 2 spot to watch the sundown.
Yeah, number 2 favorite spot on the boat, up at the bob seats, we call these. My dad was wondering why are they called dolphin seats. I'm like, well, because you watch dolphins from them.
That's silly.
So, all right, fine, we'll call ours bob seats. So, second question is, how do you compare overlanding versus sailing? We did 6 years on the road. If you didn't watch our channel before, we've been through over 60 countries in a truck. And mostly we were trying to stay off-road, camp remotely, not going to campgrounds. And when we transitioned to this, we were looking for more freedom. We wanted to know that more of the world was open to us.
Yep. Yeah, because when you travel in a vehicle, there's roads. And obviously you're not really going to make roads. You don't want to make new roads. So you're following roads that are there. And generally, if roads are there, they're being used for a reason.
Yep. And if they're not there, especially in jungles, we found if the road is not overgrown entirely, then it goes to someone's house again and again and again. And they're super nice people, and we'd stay in their yard because they'd invite us in. But you don't feel a huge sense of freedom after a lot of time doing it, unless you're in the American West with tons of public land. Yep. Some areas of Baja are still remote, although that's changing.
Changing quickly, yeah.
And then the only time you felt truly free to go on your own path, and it was a good idea to, would be in sand dunes, like when we were in the Sahara. Yep. When we were in, what's the ones in South America, Peru? Paracas. Yeah. So Sahara or in Paracas. Things like that, or on the Great Salt Flat in Bolivia, where you just literally can put it on cruise control.
Kind of like being on a boat.
Yeah, it was kind of like being on a boat. And so I think this is much freer feeling. Mm-hmm. It's much more outdoorsy. We're much more active. We're getting back into being in okay shape, and we want to continue getting in better shape.
And the boat, at least for me, feels like much more of a home. You know, like in a truck, you are living in a truck, and it feels like that. There's not a lot of space. You don't have. Maybe you do have a shower and a bathroom, but it's small. Yeah. And this feels like a mansion to us, but it does feel like an actual home. It does feel like an actual home.
And then further to what we were saying before is everywhere we've anchored, we're allowed to be. There is no one knocking on our door. Most of the world's private property. Mm-hmm. And you can get away with camping on it, but you're always wondering if that knock's going to come, and it does sometimes. Yeah. And so you always have that anxiety, whereas in the boat, you have different anxiety. You're worried about weather, something else like that, dragging anchor. But I always know where we've anchored. Every one of the 200 nights now or so that we've anchored, we're allowed to be there. Yep. Even 50 yards from the Statue of Liberty, totally fine.
And the coolest thing is, I mean, you look around and where we're anchored right now, all the houses have this view. They're millions of dollars. So this view that we get is millions of dollars for a lot of people. And we
change it whenever we want.
Yeah, it's really, really neat.
So we're excited with it. It's also newer to us too. Yes. So in 6 years of doing this, I don't know, maybe we'll want to do something else. But right now, we're absolutely couldn't be happier with the change.
Yep.
All right, next. Third question we often get, and we've gotten this since we started overlanding in 2018. How can you guys afford to do this? Do you have a trust fund or are you wealthy?
The answer is no, we are not trust fund kids. And
no, I wish.
Yeah.
But so I started a sort of massive shift in how I thought in about 2010, 2011. The big recession was happening at the time. I had been laid off 4 different times as banks I worked for went out of business. My home went through foreclosure. I was living in my 4Runner. I had sold every possession I had, cashed in 401k, which you're never supposed to do, but I was desperate and I was ashamed and I didn't want to tell anybody that I was completely destitute, I guess you could say. But from that day on, I never made $1 again without saving as much of it as I could. Even doing manual labor jobs, I was building horse corrals, a million different jobs. No job has been beneath either of us, and we do side jobs all the time. So once we met, I found someone who thought like I thought. And on weekends, evenings, we're doing side jobs. We started up new careers, and we had office jobs. And they were never that high paying, frankly. Not as high as you'd think you would need to be living on a boat. But then on the weekends and evenings, we had other jobs. I would also buy and sell motorcycles or cars, and I would fix them up. We redid our house. Kelsey's grew up with a dad as a contractor. So she taught me how to lay tile, and we'd be there in 110-degree heat in Phoenix with a mister on me so I didn't overheat, cutting tile all day and redoing our house.
Yep. A lot of sweat equity in all the things that we've done.
Yeah. And some of it, I have to say too, is also luck. You know, we happened to go from that terrible time when I was flat broke till now has probably been the longest economic increase. And I do believe heavily in investing and letting things sit and living way below your means. So every time either of us got a raise or any time either of us had anything good happen, like we flipped a motorcycle and, you know, maybe made $3,000 or $4,000, we never touched it. And I kept racing, still to this day, the old steel, no suspension mountain bike I always had. And we just found contentment in that, I think. Driving old cars that were kind of ratty. And then occasionally we'd have our Porsche or our Land Cruiser. But we'd also bought them with the intention of knowing we're buying the least nice one we can find.
We're going to fix it up.
There you go.
And it'll probably be worth more money.
Yeah. And so we've just been on that tack this whole time. And we still do a lot of side jobs.
Yeah.
And that's the only way we're able to continue doing this is many irons in the fire.
Absolutely. So, yeah, it's a lot of work, but it's totally worth it.
Yeah.
The sun is almost setting back there.
Yeah. And I got to say, with this view, sitting on your own boat, I mean, it's never seemed so worth it, ever.
Yeah,
right?
It's pretty amazing.
All right, next one. The fourth, final question is just what we've done so far in this year of sailing.
Yeah.
So we have sailed just under 3,500 miles, almost exactly 3,500 nautical miles.
Which is so crazy. When
So
we
crazy.
started this, I remember getting the boat, and it was in the contract to get it back to the mooring ball, and so it got back to the mooring ball, and then everybody left, and we were like,
uh-oh.
What are we doing?
Feels strange to be out here on our boat, but also so good. But it's like trying to just figure everything out, how everything works. And so far everything's going smoothly.
Wait, we're in control of this thing. And we had probably 60 miles of sailing experience from our week on a boat.
Yep. On a different boat.
On a different boat.
Similar systems and everything, but different
Down
boat.
in Baja getting some ASA certifications.
Okay guys, ready to hoist the main?
And we sailed as much as we could during that week, but there was also a lot of other people aboard needing to learn too. And so we sailed as much as possible, but all of a sudden you've just sunk everything you have into a boat that needs a lot of work, and you can lose it all so easily.
Yeah.
So
yeah, this year has been amazing. It's been scary and exciting. So many firsts that we've gotten to do.
The first time anchoring was just wild because we did that passage for 3 days. Kelsey had been really sick. I was not feeling good from not sleeping. Then we drop anchor, and it's our bridle that Kelsey made, a brand new anchor we bought, a brand new swivel
just
that I
past sunset,
installed.
So not quite this bright even, but it was like just dusk.
Yeah.
And,
Everything's a first for us, really. You know, you put up a sail. The first time we did the asymmetrical spinnaker, had no idea how to do it. We had it backwards. And so I don't know. It's just been one of those wild years. We've lightly touched bottom, thankfully just on the mini keels and some sand, but tide was going out and we found the bottom. Every day is so many firsts. And I think that's one of the reasons we're loving it so much too, is
You're
although
learning
that's
so much.
Yeah,
every
it's
day.
stressful to push you, but
Yeah.
like, it's great.
Yeah.
You know, what am I going to learn tomorrow?
Yeah.
Here goes nothing.
We did something crazy.
Bought a boat.
This is the best sale ever.
I'm sailing!
Imagine us going far, 'cause they couldn't change that, my love. Life has only begun. Our feet were fashioned to run. Oh, and we'll go farther than we've been.
Whew, pretty exciting. So we're super excited about hopefully what's coming soon.
Yes.
Because right now we're still waiting on sales.
Yep. The current update on sales is they've gone from Australia, sitting in
They sat there
customs
for a
for many
couple
days,
Yeah.
to China, which worried me a little,
Yep.
and then to Anchorage, Alaska, and now to Tennessee, Memphis, apparently. So we hope we get them by Monday.
Yes, because if we don't get them by Monday, then the place that they're being delivered will be closed for 2 weeks. So
Yes. So a lot to depend on. But we'll tell you guys next week about our plans for the coming year and just in general for the boat. So we have a lot of plans. What we do and what we plan to do usually end up being two different things.
Yes.
But we want to share with you guys where we're headed next.
Yes.
But in the meantime, it's time to get some new sales and do some video calls with family for Christmas. And
Yeah, just enjoy the holidays. We're gonna cuddle up and watch a cozy Christmas movie, I think, tonight. So
yeah,
we so appreciate you guys coming along for this adventure. It means so much to us. We love seeing all the comments, and yeah, just your support is amazing. So thank you guys so much. Cheers to all of you. Happy holidays, whatever you celebrate, and
happy
New Year.
Festivus for the rest of us.
Yes.
And we'll see you guys next time.